Coming up in this episode of Rebel Report, the Golden Knights are 5-1 in their last 6 games. We hope to see the Knights build off of their momentum and make a push for the playoffs.
The Dollar Loan Center hosted hockey this past weekend. We will have more on how the Silver Knights' first few games went down.
Former UNLV alum Bryson Stott made the Phillies roster as a shortstop. We will have more on his journey to the MLB, plus all things sports coming up on the Rebel Report.
Welcome to Studio B on the campus of UNLV. This is the Rebel Report. I'm Sydney Lum.
I'm Jacob Teller. Before we dive into the local sports news of the week, we want to tell you what we're all about.
Every week we cover UNLV athletics, the games, the events, the athletes, and coaches.
But we're also here to cover all of the major sporting events happening in Southern Nevada.
Let's begin with our top story.
The Henderson Silver Knights have spent the beginning of their existence at the New Orleans Arena, but their home arena in Henderson is finally open. Reporter Nick Todorovich has more on the Silver Knights' first ever game at the Dollar Loan Center versus the Bakersfield Condors.
The Henderson community has been waiting to have local hockey for a long time. When Bill Foley bought the Silver Knights, they had to play at the Orleans Arena until the Dollar Loan Center was built. This past Saturday, the arena was ready and the Silver Knights played their inaugural game. They faced off against the Bakersfield Condors, who are the Edmonton Oilers AHL affiliate. The Condors took the energy out of the DLC early, building a 2-0 lead in the first period. Paul Cotter tried to put the Silver Knights on his back with 2 second-period goals, but this wasn't enough for the Silver Knights as they dropped the game 5-2. Players and coaches were disappointed with the result, but they were enthusiastic about the arena and the fan base.
Long time coming. There's no question. We've been counting the days for a long time here to get into this building, and we practiced here a couple times last week, and just to see before the game, all the fans here, but just when the game started, how loud it was. I thought it was a T-Mobile Center for a sec. That's how loud it was. The atmosphere is incredible.
And now that we're at home, can kind of get our pregame routine down and stuff like that in the new building. So we're looking for a lot of success in this month for sure.
It was clear that the players and coaches were pleased with the crowd and the arena, and they are looking forward to turn the Dollar Loan Center into their own fortress. Even though the Silver Knights lost the game, the mood at Dollar Loan Center was exciting. Henderson is happy to have its own team, and the fans are ready to root for their Silver Knights. For Rebel Report, I'm Nick Todorovich.
The Silver Knights lost their first game at the DLC, but they had a chance to bounce back against the Rockford Ice Hogs. My co-host Sydney Lum has more on that game.
The Henderson Silver Knights won against the Rockford Ice Hogs on Tuesday night and won with a final score of 4-1. This was their first win at their new arena, Dollar Loan Center. Danil Maramanov succeeded at getting a hat trick tonight. He started the game off with getting the first goal of the night. Jermaine Lowen then scored a goal at the beginning of the second period to put HSK up by 2. Josiah Slavin then answered, making it a 1-point game. Maramanov scored 2 more times in the game, once towards the end of the second period and once in the third period, resulting in his hat trick and a win for the Knights.
Most important, we got the win. We get back at it tomorrow, and I was just trying to do my job. Jumped like 4 times, scored 3 goals. So I think it's pretty lucky.
I just saw Max kind of coming down the wall there, and I was with him, and I was just darting through the middle and trying to get to the net, and Max forced the Rockford Ice Hogs player, and he slipped it over to me, and I said, you know what? I see some net, I'm going to hit it as fast and hard as I can, and that's what happened. And I'm so excited, I'm so happy, and it was a big goal for the team, and we gained some momentum from that, and then we just kept rolling.
This has been Sydney Lum with Rebel Report. The Silver Knights will look to continue their winning ways to make a late season playoff push. Their next game is Saturday against the San Jose Barracuda in San Jose.
The Golden Knights face off against the Vancouver Canucks for the second time in 3 nights. In Vancouver, Shea Theodore won the game for Vegas in overtime, but Wednesday night, Vancouver got their revenge. Jack Eichel scored first for VGK, but Vancouver answered with 5 straight goals to win 5-1. Vegas will look to bounce back Saturday at 7 p.m. against the Arizona Coyotes.
Las Vegas finally gets to host the yearly March Madness for college basketball. Reporter Connor Torres has more.
March Madness is finally coming to Las Vegas. In 2023, Vegas is set to host a region in the basketball tournament. Let's take a look at the details.
Vegas adds another major event to the lineup. The NCAA committee announced that Las Vegas will host the West region of the annual March Madness tournament for both the men's and women's college basketball. Vegas has already been home to major conference basketball tournaments, including the Mountain West, the Pac-12, and the West Coast Conference. This is the first time that Las Vegas will be hosting a region of the Big Dance, and it was finally able to happen after the Supreme Court ruling in 2018 overturned in relation to sports betting in the United States, which prohibited Vegas from ever hosting a region of the tournament. Las Vegas is set to host the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 for the West region March 23rd through March 25th, 2023. Reporting from Rebel Report, I'm Connor Torres. Go Rebs!
We're excited to host the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 next year. Thanks, Connor. Yet another UFC pay-per-view event is around the corner. Reporter Daniel Ramirez has more on UFC 273.
UFC 273 sees the combat sports leader make its return to Jacksonville, Florida, in a stacked card with multiple marquee matchups and 2 title fights. In one of the first matchups, the number 2 ranked welterweight and former title challenger Gilbert Burns takes on surging prospect Khamzat Chimaev, who is currently undefeated and on a 4-fight win streak in the UFC. And with a potential number 1 contender spot on the line, the stakes could not be higher. In the first title fight, bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling and interim champion Petr Yan run it back after their first controversial title fight ended with Yan being disqualified for an illegal knee, leaving Sterling to be crowned champion. Sterling is coming off a neck surgery and feels better than ever, while Yan feels like he never lost the belt and is aiming to remind the world who the real champ is. Finally, in the main event, featherweight king Alexander Volkanovski takes on the Korean zombie Chung Chan-sung, as fans get an instant classic matchup featuring 2 UFC greats, so make sure not to blink, as both of these fighters can end the fight at any point. This has been Daniel Ramirez reporting for Rebel Report.
Thanks for the preview, Daniel. UFC fans can catch this card on ESPN plus pay-per-view.
The UNLV football team is on their second week of spring training, and I had the chance to see how things are going. Spring ball has officially kicked off at the Fertitta Football Complex, and there are tons of developments surrounding the young UNLV Rebels. With a full quarterback room starring Freshman of the Year Cameron Friel, Doug Brumfield, and a transfer from Tennessee, Harrison Bailey, each quarterback has had their ups and downs during practice, but the newcomer Harrison Bailey is turning heads with his poise in the pocket and precise passes. As for the wide receivers, we're seeing some familiar faces make plays on the gridiron, such as Kyle Williams, yet another Freshman of the Year on the roster. On the other side of the ball, the defense is bonding together and making major strides. Bryce Jackson and Noah Williams have been holding it down for the secondary, and the senior presence of Naki Fahina on the defensive line has brought the guys together. The Rebels are a long ways away from the regular season, but things are falling into place this spring. This is Jacob Teller, reporting for Rebel Report. With the rest of April still left for training, the Rebels have plenty of time to build chemistry.
Coming up on the rundown, our guys Murad and Alex will break down the NCAA championship game between Kansas and North Carolina.
Are you a sports fan and want to keep up with your local sports?
Well then listen up, because we have the perfect thing for you.
Welcome to Rebel Report, where we cover all things Las Vegas sports.
Soccer, we got it.
Baseball, we got it.
Football, we got it.
And basketball?
Well, you know the answer to that one.
Report is your go-to place for coverage of sports all over Las Vegas, providing stories and content you won't find anywhere else.
Welcome to The Rundown. I'm your host, Jamie Boyle, and I'm joined by Alex Wright and Murad Omesh. So the game that happened this last week was UNC versus Kansas. How do you think that game turned out, guys?
I thought it was a really great game. We saw UNC build a big lead, and then Kansas came back late. So it was a great run by UNC, an 8 seed coming into the tournament. But Kansas, as a number 1 seed, they came back. UNC had some injuries there in that second half, but Kansas won its another national championship under Bill Self. So that was a really great game. I thought the atmosphere was really, really great there inside New Orleans.
And like you said, it was an 8 seed making the final. I mean, that's remarkable. They knocked out on the number 1 seed in Baylor. They ended St. Mary's Cinderella story, and they beat Coach K on his last game. So, yeah, it was pretty big for UNC to make it to the final. They were this close to winning it, but they just blew the lead at the end, and Kansas knew what to do.
So speaking of basketball, Vegas has been asked to host the NCAA Regionals for 2023. So what do you guys think about Vegas hosting this event for the first time?
I think it's going to be really exciting. I mean, we've seen all the events coming into Las Vegas, and an NCAA event was kind of the last box they needed to get checked. And you look at all the events that have been coming into Las Vegas, and this one's really special because of the ties that basketball has to the Las Vegas community, going back to the UNLV days in the 70s and all the other events happening. So overall, I think it's really good. It's a really good event. It kind of sheds, in the past, Las Vegas has had kind of not a good image, Sin City, gambling, of some of these sports leagues, but they get to shed that image off with this NCAA event, and hopefully maybe down the road there's a Final Four and national championship game inside Allegiant Stadium.
Yeah, and like you said, Vegas has been checking off the box for all these sporting events and sporting teams. I mean, now we have an NFL team, a hockey team. There's talks for an MLS team coming into Vegas and an NBA team. And there's a Frozen Four. I believe the Frozen Four is going to be in 2026 in Vegas. So it's just all these big events are coming into Vegas, and it's a great atmosphere in Vegas. It's a tourist attraction to have all these sporting events in the city, and it's just a very good look for the city.
Yeah, you mentioned all the tourism that does come here into Las Vegas, but Las Vegas has its great fan base, local fan base that has supported some of these UNLV athletics in the past, some of these minor league events and these specialty events like UFC or boxing or NASCAR. So now they have some events and things that they get to call their own. So it's really great for us as Las Vegas locals to have that as well.
Yeah, and like you guys mentioned, like on top of basketball, there's a bunch of different sports that are coming out. Vegas is going to be hosting a plethora of sporting events throughout the upcoming years. So undoubtedly, Vegas is becoming kind of a sports host for years to come. So what do you guys think about that?
I think it's going to be really, really great. Obviously, we know Las Vegas is a hospitality city, and putting on a show for great events. We see the NFL draft coming up, and they're going to have a stage on the Bellagio fountains. You see the Super Bowl's coming here to Allegiant Stadium. That's going to be really exciting. They're going to put on a show for that. And then recently announced the Formula One race that's going to be happening on the Strip at night with the bright lights of Las Vegas. So again, it just shows you that Las Vegas can host so many great events, and it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, we can't wait to see what the future holds. But thank you guys so much. That's wrapping it up for the rundown. Thank you, Alex and Murad, and we're throwing that back to Sydney and Jacob.
Up next, we will get to know another Rebel, and our reporter Jelani Watts has an exclusive interview.
Tired of endless scrolling through sports shows that don't talk about your Vegas teams? Haven't found the right sports show for you?
I just wish there was a show that focused on Vegas sports.
There is.
Really?
It's called The Rebel Report.
What is Rebel Report?
The Rebel Report is a UNLV sports show run by UNLV students that covers everything Vegas sports. To Golden Knights hockey, to Raiders football, to UNLV softball, The Rebel Report has it all.
You don't have to tell me twice. I'm watching right now. You can watch the Rebel Report on YouTube and Facebook. And for more sports news, follow the Rebel Report on Twitter.
Rebel Report UNLV.com has everything you're looking for when it comes to Las Vegas news, sports, and current events. All articles are written by a handful of talented local writers who keep up on everything Las Vegas, from UNLV athletics to Vegas Golden Knights, UFC, and many, many more. You can even view videos and photos from your favorite Las Vegas events in a special folder found on the site. So go check out rebelreport.com and see what we have to offer.
All right, everyone, it's time to get to know yet another one of your UNLV athletes. We're going to send it over to Lexi.
Hey guys, I got a chance to interview Alyssa Casso from our UNLV women's soccer team. Let's check it out. I'm Lexi Engdahl for the Rebel Report, here with Alyssa Casso, a junior forward for our UNLV women's soccer team. Alyssa, can we start off by saying what your major is?
My major is communications.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So what do you plan to do with that when you graduate?
Because communications has such an open area, I'm able to take my prerequisites, and so I kind of want to go into dental hygiene. So I'm doing my prereqs for those.
That's really interesting. And do you plan to use soccer later on in your future at all after college?
To be honest, no. I mean, I'm sure I'll probably stick with it and do little leagues, but I think my career ends after college.
Oh, okay. Do you have any hobbies you like to do outside of soccer as well?
I would say I like to tan and swim, especially with this nice weather that we have now.
All right, and finally, could you show me a little trick?
Yeah, let's juggle.
Pass it off.
Yes. That was good. That was really good.
All right, Alyssa. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much. And if you guys want to come support the UNLV women's soccer team, we have a game on April 9th at the Cashman Field.
Wow, look at them juggling the ball together. Thank you, Lexi. Now we will send it over to Jelani, who has an exclusive interview.
Thanks, Jacob. With spring training underway for UNLV football, I got to chat with one of their inside linebackers after practice at the Fertitta Football Complex. What's up, guys? I am here with Rebels inside linebacker Kyle Beaudry. Now, Kyle, you weren't born in Vegas, but you were raised here. What is it like to play for the college team in the city that you grew up in?
It means a lot to the local guys to play high school ball out here and have that support, and then to bring it to the college level. Not a lot of people get to do this. Be a local guy, a hometown hero. Means a lot, and it's a very prideful thing for us to do.
Was it exciting graduating high school early, and when did you find out that you were going to graduate early? Was it a decision you made?
Yeah, that was going into my senior year. I'd known that I wanted to come here in the spring early, so I graduated December 2018, enrolled here spring 2019, and it was just a way for me to get started with football early and school early.
What are you majoring in?
Mechanical engineering.
So how is mechanical engineering, and what types of things do you partake in within that major?
Mechanical engineering is definitely a very hands-on major. It's very math, science, physics-based, but it's something that's a little outside of the box. Not a lot of football guys do engineering and science stuff. So it's nice to get a little bit of both, the school side and the football side, just challenging me.
What's the best part about your major?
Best part about my major would definitely be the challenge it presents and how different it is. I actually started doing kinesiology my first semester and then switched to engineering, which is a little bit of a flip. But, yeah, engineering is definitely something that I enjoy, and it's a good challenge.
And what year are you in? Where are you at in your schooling?
I am a junior currently, and then this fall I'll be a senior.
And what are you looking forward to the most during the 2022 season?
Definitely just seeing progress. Last year we had 6 games that were one possession games, fourth quarter games. So I think we have a new defensive staff coming in, and it's really fun to learn a new defense. This is my 3rd defense since I've been here. But it's, like I said, it's a good challenge to have that brought on you, and I just want to see progress with the guys and see where we go as a team, and definitely just flip those games around and get a bowl game Mountain West Championship this year.
Awesome. That is a great goal. And bonus question for you guys. What is your favorite professional football team?
The Philadelphia Eagles.
Philadelphia Eagles.
A little
awesome.
left field, but...
No, you're good. Everyone has their own. So we appreciate it. This was Kyle Beaudry, again, inside linebacker for the UNLV Rebels football team. Thanks, guys. Back to you.
Up next, we will have a look at the UNLV softball team, who keeps on winning big games.
Hey, did you catch that UNLV game?
I did.
Oh, I had to work, so couldn't go.
You can always look it up on Rebel Report.
What's Rebel Report?
Rebel Report is a 30-minute sports program on PBS, YouTube, and Facebook. They cover all UNLV sports.
Oh, is that it?
They also cover sports all across Las Vegas.
Oh, I'll make sure to subscribe. Oh, it's 3:30. We gotta get to class.
I'm Jelani Watts.
And I'm Hector Solomon.
And that's all for Rebel Report. We'll see you next time.
And cut. I got 2 minutes to get to the Mac Center before the game starts.
The U.S. Open Soccer Cup is underway, and our reporter Murad Omesh has more on the Lights tournament opener.
The Las Vegas Lights faced off against FC Tucson in the second round of the U.S. Open Cup. Unfortunately, that would mark the end of their journey in the tournament after they were upset with a 3-2 loss away from home. The Lights played with the majority of their bench players because FC Tucson is a lower division team, but substituted some starters such as Cristosimo and Traore, both of which scoring once Tucson led in the second half, but both goals weren't enough to win the game. Here's Tucson forward Daniel Bedoya on the team's mentality in an intense end of the game.
I mean, I think it just shows that we are ready to fix our mistakes and just go after teams and try to do our game and come out with the win like we did today. We had to run, we had to fight, we had to defend, and I think the team did a good job in that.
The Lights are out of the Open Cup and can now focus strictly on league play. Their next game is at home against Colorado Switchbacks this Saturday at 2 p.m. Make sure to come out and support. From Rebel Report, this is Murad Omesh.
Unfortunately, the Lights lost and are out of the tournament. Hopefully they bounce back stronger.
The United States men's national soccer team have qualified for this year's World Cup in Qatar on the back of a strong World Cup qualifying cycle. Reporter Jesse Matuska has more.
The United States men's national team has made it back to the World Cup for the first time since 2014. After missing the 2018 World Cup in Russia, this new generation of American players were able to find success and make it back to the world stage following a strong World Cup qualifying cycle. An impressive 5-1 win over Panama saw the United States qualify for Qatar in 2022. The United States has been drawn into Group B with England, Iran, and the winner of a European playoff game of either Scotland, Wales, or Ukraine. American superstar Christian Pulisic shared his excitement of being able to play in his first World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely had time to soak it in a bit. I mean, qualifying was an incredible feeling. It was really nice to go get the job done in that last window, and now that's a big sigh of relief. And now just thinking about it, I mean, you can probably hear me. I'm just excited. Obviously, I've said 100 times, and it's going to be a fun year in the build up to that, preparing, and obviously have a lot of club obligations too that's going on. So just focusing on that really at the moment, and yeah.
U.S. soccer fans certainly can't wait to see what this young group of players is able to accomplish in the World Cup this November. Reporting from Rebel Report, I'm Jesse Matuska.
How exciting that the USA will be playing on the biggest stage in sports. The World Cup cannot come soon enough. Thanks, Jesse. Last weekend, the UNLV softball team ended Boise State's 10-game winning streak. This was the first time in history the Rebels swept the Broncos on the road. Ariana Martinez hit a grand slam in the 5th inning of the last game to capture the series. Mia Trejo scored at least one run in each game and was not struck out the entire weekend. This was UNLV's first ever 3-game sweep of a ranked team. Next, the Rebels will travel to Utah for a non-conference matchup against Dixie State.
As UNLV men's golf season comes to an end, Jillian Maracchini recaps their last tournament here.
In a 2-day matchup, UNLV men's golf
recorded their lowest team score of this season at Whirlwind Golf Club in Arizona at the Wyoming Cowboy Classic, where they finished 5th overall. Sophomore Caden Fiorini, who won Mountain West Golfer of the Week last week, hit a career-best tournament score as a Rebel, finishing top 10 at 10 under 206. Representing the Rebels were sophomores Ben Sawaya and Caden Fiorini, junior George Lay, and seniors Jack Kozlowski and JJ Gresko. The Rebels concluded the tournament with 3 straight rounds under par. I spoke with 5th-year senior JJ Gresko beforehand about how he was feeling going into the Wyoming Cowboy Classic.
The Wyoming event's it's a good field. It has a lot of Mountain West teams, so it'll be a good prep before Mountain West. But definitely looking to build some momentum there. Like I said, the biggest thing is just trying to come together and have a lot of guys have a good week together so we can have a good finish together.
The Rebels will be back in Arizona next week for their final regular season tournament for ASU's Thunderbird Tournament on April 15th and 16th.
To wrap up today's episode, we want to send some love to former UNLV baseball player Bryson Stott.
Bryson played for UNLV in 2017 and 2018, and then the Philadelphia Phillies selected Stott in the first round of the MLB draft.
This season, Bryson was named on the Phillies opening day roster for the first time in his career. Congratulations, Bryson.
That will do it for this episode of Rebel Report.
Thank you for watching.